Hey, mitakuyepi. Hihane washite. It's me, Wambly. Wambly Wallawa, singing eagle from Sacramento. Just real quick, when I say mitakuyepi, I think most of you know this, but if you don't speak Lakota and you're curious about it, we have a word in our language, takuye. Takuye. Takuye means relative. We put the P-I at the end of the word, and that signals that it's plural. Takuyepi, relatives. And our word for my, like the pronoun my, possessive, is mitra. And that's shortened to me, M-I. And then you add that to the front of takuyepi, and mitakuyepi means all, hey, my relatives. So if I say, hey, hihane washite mitakuyepi, I'm just saying good morning, my relatives. So little bit of a Lakota lesson there for those that might be curious or might want to learn. I encourage all of you to learn your languages. Learn your native languages. Seek somebody out, find them. They're out there somewhere, hopefully. But I wanted to mention something this morning or today, whenever you happen to be watching this video, about being native. Now, this is not what you're going to think it is. What does it mean to be native? Now, I'm not going there. That has nothing to do with what I'm going to talk about this morning. I had mentioned before, I think it was during the video I did about alcoholism and how it affects our people and how I struggled with it for 43 years. And the idea was that, for me, when I was growing up, was that I was, remember this was when I was a little kid, I was part Indian, because that's what my dad told me. My half-breed father said, hey, don't you ever forget you're part Indian. So I remembered that, and I would introduce myself later in life as, hey, yeah, I'm part native too, you know. Well, think about it. What's that going to do? Well, the first thing is, it's not going to do this. Oh, really? Another native's not going to normally, at least in my experience, didn't tend to come up. Instead, it was like, hey, I'm part native. And that's what happened. They would back off a step or two and become, very disinterested very quickly. Of course, I learned later that a lot of Washichu, a lot of the disconnected ones, as I say, not a color of skin, although it tends to be a lot of Ska Oyate, white people, in certain parts of the country, especially over there with our poor Cherokee relatives, that everybody and their brother seems to think that they had a Cherokee grandmother or that was a Cherokee princess or something. But that's a whole different thing. But a lot of us are mixed, you know. Now I've got light skin and blue eyes. I'm not going to say anything about to the contrary. That's ridiculous. I wish I had darker skin, but I don't. That's because my grandpa, he was full-blood Oglala, and made my father half-breed, and we think there's actually some Creek on my father's side also. So I just recently found out about that. And Austin, if you're listening, we need to talk about that, bro. And my mom was Irish, Scotch Irish, but I don't talk about that because no disrespect to my Celtic ancestors, but it's just not important. Because there came a point in my life, as I mentioned, that I had to give myself permission to simply be native. I had no intention of any longer being split or fragmented. It just was not going to happen. So, coming off of that I spoke of a couple of weeks ago in one of the other Unification chat videos, I noticed that a lot of our native peoples define themselves still as by the word part. I'm part this, I'm part that. Now, I'm not talking about, I got a brother, there's a brother that I know, he is 1/4 each of Oglala, Miniquoju, Hunkpapa, and Pueblo. Well, he's a full-blood. I could just call him a native tossed salad, actually. But he's a full-blood. So he doesn't use the word part. He says, I'm Oglala, Hunkpapa, Miniquoju, Pueblo. But a lot of people haven't gotten to the point where they can say, I'm native, regardless of blood quantum. And that's what I want to get into, is this whole blood quantum business. In the old days, okay, tribes would adopt, or families within tribes, or sometimes the tribes themselves would adopt outsiders from other tribes, and oftentimes Ska'oyate, white people, that truly respected us and truly wanted to live our way and be as one of us. They wanted to be native. They wanted to live native. And so there was no question. You became part of the tribe. You were Lakota, or you were Seneca, or you were, Arapaho, or whatever it was. There was no question about this blood quantum business. The blood quantum business came about by the Milahanska. That's an old Lakota word meaning long knives, or I use it now for Americans, government people, wanting to keep tabs on us. And here's the thing they're hoping for. So you got a full-blood native boy. Let's hope he marries a white woman. No offense. But if he does, then his children will be half-breeds. Now let's hope they do the same thing, and their kids will be quarter breeds, like me. And after a while, where's the natives? That's what they're hoping. They're hoping that we do that and water ourselves down so bad that we will disappear altogether, and then they don't have to worry about keeping track of us, being afraid of us rising up, which we are doing now, paying us whatever monies happen to be coming our way for whatever reason, giving us the land to take care of it, and just have it all back, get all the minerals out of it. They don't care. They couldn't care less. All they want is profit. So they want that. They want us watered down. So what we've got to do, I believe with all my heart, we have to give ourselves permission to be native if we are not full-bloods. Just be native. Period. End of story. I was so fragmented before. There was a point in my life that I was really seriously confused about my identity. That's all gone now. One fact. Ma Lakota. It means I am Lakota. My grandfather gave me that blood. My ancestors walk with me. Right now they're walking with me. I live as best I can the old way. And I want more of it. I need to attend more ceremonies. Of course, the pandemic's kind of got that all stopped. I want to be around my people, which is why I'm so homesick for the res that I never set foot on. I want to go home. But I'm Lakota, and that will never change. I'm native, and that will never change. Somebody asked me, well, what are you? I'm native, period. I'm indigenous. Maybe I got that other blood in me, but you know what? In reality, here's the funny thing. The Irish and the Scotch blood, those Celtic boys were fairly indigenous also. So I guess that counts a bit, eh? I just wanted to put this out there. It is okay to give yourself permission to ignore the blood quantum idea and claim who you are. You are native. You either are or you're not. Now, I understand that there's some who think the opposite way. Well, I'm going to tell you something. I strongly urge you to spend some time in prayer and talk directly to your ancestors. And ask them to speak to your heart. Ask them to appear to you if they would like to. Ask them to give you definitive understanding of what I just said. Because that's where I got it from. I wouldn't have known to do that if they hadn't told me. My Lakota ancestor said, Takoja, grandson, you either are native or you're not. Pick one, A or B. There ain't nothing in the middle. And that's what I did. So, give yourself permission to be native. It's okay. I promise, it's okay. And don't be fragmented. And let's see if we can lose some of those bad habits we picked up from the others, okay? We don't need to be arrogant, untrustworthy, stingy, phony, lying. That's their way, not ours. Okay, that's all I got to say for today. I hope that's okay. Hope I didn't step on any toes. I don't think I did. If I did, that's your tuwala. Just the way it is. Okay? Te chihi lapi. That's Lakota for I love all of you guys, okay? And dokshake. That means later.